Lesotho, Nigeria, Pakistan, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, Georgia, Belgium, and Egypt. Thank you, Sir Engineer Emmanuel, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the International Safety Webinar 2022 with the theme Workplace Hazards and Risk Assessment Strategies. It's great to be here for this safety webinar, and it's great to see so many of you here today, all committed to safe and healthy work environments. People come first in any workplace. The work that you are doing at this safety webinar is so important to the success of those workers and their families, and ultimately the businesses employing them. Without a safe, healthy work environment, nothing else matters. I request all the delegates from across the country to make use of this day to the best of their abilities. Thank you. Now I would like to call Sir Engineer Emmanuel to proceed further. Yes, sir.
Yeah, proceed. Okay. At this point, I want to thank you so much, Hassan Sani, for that wonderful remark you have given. Actually, we are here for International Safety Webinar. And I would like to handle this part of the segment, which is the safety moments and webinar briefing. Knowing fully well that we are in a Zoom platform, we are all advised to ensure that we are very, very conscious of the cyber security issues. Let's all be very, very careful in terms of sharing of information or receiving information from anybody participating in these events. Making sure that we are not being deceived or derailed by one of the delegation, because OSHAssociation may not be responsible for any misleading of information from any participant in this international event. At this point, I will also want to inform everyone entering the Zoom to be able to ensure that you mute yourself so that you don't obstruct the process of this webinar, because we have all delegations represented here from over 15 countries. And I think also my brother from Benin Republic, my counterpart, Leoli, I believe you will also be doing some recap in a very short way, because I think a lot of your people from French countries are also here. So that merci
beaucoup, mon cher, je suis très reconnaissant. Bonjour à tout le monde, soyez les bienvenus à ce webinaire international qui a pour thématique la sûreté au niveau des entreprises, la sûreté au niveau des lieux de travail. Grande est notre joie de voir tout le monde représenté, l'Afrique est représentée, l'Europe est représentée, l'Amérique est représentée, le Moyen-Orient aussi est représenté. Nous sommes sur cette plateforme internationale pour échanger des paramètres techniques pouvant permettre à tout le monde d'assumer sa préoccupation, d'assumer son travail en milieu industriel, que ce soit en milieu industriel, que ce soit en milieu profane, pour que vous puissiez exercer votre travail dans les meilleures conditions. Nous avons avec nous des experts, des éminents experts qui délibéreront des thématiques qui peuvent nous aider à mieux implémenter les techniques internationales. Pour cette raison, nous vous prions, chère audience, de mettre votre écouteur en mode silencieux pour ne pas permettre une distraction. Nous vous exhortons aussi de vous conformer dans les règles de l'art, parce que nous sommes une plateforme internationale. Pour cette raison, vous aurez droit à des allocutions, vous aurez droit à des panels, vous aurez droit à des démonstrations pour qu'à la fin, chacun d'entre nous puisse bénéficier du meilleur moment que nous allons tirer ici. Sur ce, je vous souhaite la bienvenue. You are highly welcome. Back to you, Engineer Emmanuel, as you want to start with the first menu.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that recap. I think we're here for the International Safety Webinar, the theme Workplace Hazards and Risk Assessment Strategies. And we are going to be hearing from the experts and seasoned professionals from other parts of the world who will be sharing with us on how to manage the hazard and risk in our workplaces and also address the issues of hazard as it may concern our different workplaces and also even at home, because you need to be healthy at home to go to work, of course. So I think that is a safety briefing so far. Then for the event briefing, as I earlier said, it's very much important that we have our pens with us, our papers to note down as the lecture goes on. Then at the end of these sessions, I think there's going to also be opportunity for us to receive electronic certification from the organizing team of this great robust event. And I also want to shout out to my bosses and my senior colleagues from different parts of the world, from all continents are all here. We have both from Asia, Middle East, Africa, Europe, they are all here. So John Flynn, thank you so much for being here. We see Patrick from Georgia, and also S for Belgium, Leon from Benin Republic, our host and facilitator, Hassan San from Pakistan, and from Cameroon, and from Egypt, from South Africa, from Canada, everyone. As earlier mentioned by the facilitator, we have so many people on board in this event today. I said, let's take calm as we progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your briefing. Now I would like to call, thank you, sir. Now I would like to call Sir Els William for the welcome address and remark. Yes, sir, Els William, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you so much, my dear colleagues. And as my dear colleague said, I welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, for being here. This is a very exciting event, and we have a very interesting program. And when we decided what theme to make it today, it was obvious, because risk assessment is so important in our world. And not only in our world, in our field of expertise, but also in life in general. So we cannot talk enough about ways to improve that skill that we need to have to make our job a success, because it's such a big part. And I'm certain that you will enjoy the interesting information that you will receive here. And also, we're growing our family today again with the inauguration. So I'm really excited, and I hope you share my excitement. Thank you again for being here, and enjoy, please enjoy. This is supposed to be fun, so let's have fun.
Thank you so much, Els William, for your remarks. Really, thank you.
Merci, Madame Els. Merci, Madame Els. Madame Els est l'une des directrices exécutives de notre plateforme, à savoir OSHA International. En effet, elle nous entretenait sur les mots de bienvenue. Bienvenue à vous toutes, chers invités, honorables invités. Comme on le disait tout à l'heure, la thématique centrale de notre webinaire est l'évaluation des risques. L'évaluation des risques en milieu de travail. Donc, elle essaie de nous anticiper sur les bienfaits que nous aurons à retirer à travers les différentes thématiques abordées. Pour cette raison, nous anticipons une fin glorieuse dans la mesure où nous allons acquérir des compétences pour faire l'évaluation des risques dans nos milieux professionnels respectifs. Sur ce, Madame Els nous entretenait à être courtois et aussi à être la bienvenue dans une grande famille. Ce qui veut dire que ce webinaire nous réserve de belles surprises. Merci beaucoup, Madame Els.
Sir Emmanuel, kindly allow me to share my screen for the introduction of OSHAssociation.
Okay. The host, please, can you allow Hazan first?
Nous allons écouter une brève introduction de ce que nous représentons. Et c'est l'orateur du jour, c'est M. Hassan Zohaib. Hassan Zohaib, depuis le Pakistan, nous fera une brève présentation de ce que représente OSHA. Et au cours de cette présentation, vous aurez une grande aperçu de ce que nous représentons, nos milieux d'intervention. Pour cela, veuillez prêter une oreille attentive lors de sa présentation. So as we are expecting Mr. Zohaib, he's going to introduce what you represent here at OSHAssociation. When you hear about OSHAssociation, when you come to contact with OSHAssociation, what should be your expectation, or in which area can you interact with us? Please let us all give attentive audience to Mr. Zohaib. He's going to give us a brief introduction to our world. Therefore, welcome to our world as we expect Zohaib to share his screen with us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for your remarks. Basically, I was in search of the platform to make people aware about health and safety in Pakistan. But thanks to Sir Engineer Emmanuel, I got connected with him, and then I also get connected with Sir Hafiz. They both are working OSHAssociation Pakistan. So through them, I got connected, and then I started the trainings online through them. Really thank you to both of them, and Sir Leon also, because I have joined his you can say as a master classes to give awareness to all the delegates. Thank you so much, Sir Leon.
You are welcome. You are highly welcome. But by the way, can you tell us briefly some of the achievements you have undergone under the banner of OSHAssociation in Pakistan region? Because we have many regions represented here. We have a Nigerian region with the president that we will highly welcome, His Excellency. You are highly welcome. We also have a European region. Even we also have executive from all over the world. Can you tell us briefly some of the achievements OSHAssociation Pakistan has achieved, so that people can learn from how they can interact with OSHAssociation no matter where they have been found in the world?
Basically, in Pakistan, people were not aware about the OSHAssociation, but I have circulated all the information with my colleagues and in my circle and made them aware about the OSHAssociation. And in future, inshallah, till December, I'm planning about the health and safety conference with the support of OSHA network, inshallah. Inshallah, this will be held online in Pakistan, inshallah, and I'm making efforts for this, and you all will be invited in that, inshallah.
By the way, thank you very much for what you have done so far. For reminder, when we say OSHAssociation is an international platform, occupational safety and health association. No matter where you may be found, when you see this logo, know that it is a professional body. Our advocacy is that we ensure that safety with its best practice can be carried out wherever we are working. Thank you very much, Zohaib from Pakistan.
You,
and the same thing is being done in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in Middle East. Thank you very much for laying the anchor. Next in the line, we want to welcome some regional administrator to give us a goodwill message. Through the goodwill message, you can have a sense of what they are achieving day after night in their respective region. We want to welcome in the platform His Excellency Engineer.
Mr. Leon, I think Hassan wants to give a brief introduction of OSHA Association slide.
Yes.
To share a slide.
Kindly, sir, make me the co-host because I'm not able to share my slides.
He's trying
You can do that now. You
Okay,
can do
sir.
that.
No, sir, it's not host, disabled participant, screen share. Still, I'm a participant. I'm not the co-host right now.
Host,
Kindly allow
please,
me.
can you help out
Yes.
here, the host?
Kindly allow me to be a co-host.
The host should be able to make you co-host, right? The
Host, is that difficult? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, Hassan, you may continue to introduce others why they sort that out, please. Because of time, I think we have.
Okay. Okay. Occupational Safety and Health Association, known as OSHAssociation, is an international professional organization registered in England and Wales, dedicated to ensuring occupational safety and health in the land, sea, air, and the general environment. Our mission is to create proactive awareness and promote occupational safety and health knowledge globally. Our vision is to make occupational safety and health management an integral part of every sector. Our motto is promoting safety, saving lives. Aims and objectives of OSH Association globally. To promote the development and professional best practice on occupational safety and health in the public and private sectors, to promote the interest and relationship among its members worldwide, to assist in creating easy access to the occupational safety and health information, research and capacity building, to promote enabling platform for learning and professional development in occupational safety and health for professionals in the field, to carry out awareness and advocacy on environmental safety and health in the society, to promote peaceful coexistence among the members, to contribute to the progress and rapid development of the society through zero incident awareness programs, to cooperate with public and private corporate bodies with similar aims and objectives worldwide. So in 2013, we have delegation to India conference theme in the line of fire by the president OSH Association UK. Then we have the delegation to Nigeria Regional Conference and Awards in 2014 held in Abuja, FCT, Nigeria, on the theme of safety in Nigeria, the way forward. Also, we had delegation to Benin Republic Conference and Awards held at Palace de Congress, Cotonou, on the theme of safety.
You are now, hello, Hazard, you are now a co-host.
Okay, sir.
I can see that now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yes, thank you. In 2017, there was international delegation to Ghana Regional Safety Conference and Awards held at Takoradi, Ghana, on the theme of achieving safety excellence through innovation. Then in 2017, we had international delegation to Tunisia Regional HSSE International Conference. As you can see, delegation to United Arab Emirates Region Safety Conference and Awards with Intersec held at World Trade Center, Dubai. This was the Fellowship Award to top officers and principal officers of Nigerian Navy held at Naval Headquarters, Abuja. This is the World Police Summit 2022, security professionals and officers of Dubai Police joining OSHAssociation UAE region. This is the global strategy of OSHAssociation, alliance, partnership, and collaborations. Okay, what are the benefits of OSHAssociation? Creating focused safety information and events that build zero incidents. Concentration of safety professional trainers, consultants, and researchers in one event. Professional networking. Building strategies, displaying safety capabilities among professionals and accomplishments. Supporting nations in occupational safety education and effectiveness, creating opportunities for increasing safety performance of employees in industries. Career and business opportunities, assisting professional members in developing their career and creating business and opportunities. Global focus is safety, more awareness, more prevention saves life. And our motto is promoting safety, saving lives. These are the details of OSHAssociation. For the membership, media, training, questions, accreditation, requests. Thank you for joining us. Now I would like to call Mr. Patrick Gerald, the Executive Director of OSHAssociation, United Kingdom, for goodwill messages and remarks. Yes, sir, Patrick.
Thank you for that wonderful welcome. Hello, everybody. Hello from the great country of Georgia. My role as International Development Director is to inspire, hopefully, and to build a membership around the world. We live in interesting times, both historically and with the ever-growing conflicts that we have around the world between governments. We need to remember that a few years ago, we were all in the pandemic. We were all in the same boat. Those things that made us the same were greater than those things that made us different. So part of the OSH's goal not only is to promote health and safety around the world, but also to build relationships and fellowships. Those people who work in Nigeria can learn from those people who work in Chile and vice versa in the same industries, learn how to do things better, learn how to develop and develop their own skill sets. So the OSH has a really important goal, and so do you as members, in developing not only your own skills, but the nature of the organization to develop and make the world a safer place. As I said, we are in historical times. My favorite football team, Liverpool, put out a post that since they last won a game, we've had a king, a queen, and 2 prime ministers. You know, we need to understand that what makes us the same is better and stronger than what makes us different. So I welcome you all to this webinar, and I look forward to seeing you in country at some point. I hope that you develop and learn from the experts that we have on site and the training that is world-class that you can give. So I wish you all well and look forward to hearing from you at the end and through this webinar and going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Patrick, for your excellent remarks. Now I would like to call Sir Smith Neil David, Executive Director, OSHAssociation UK for his remarks. Yes, sir, David.
Thank you very much. Patrick, delighted to hear your introduction there. And I think the emphasis on growing the network is what must drive us all forward. There are far too many issues not being addressed, not being dealt with. There are far too many people who are being asked to do work that is fundamentally dangerous. The whole process of building this network and growing the influence of our members and the consultants, trainers, and providers of guidance, I think is the best way to put it, into the markets of the developing world relies on us as experts to make the point, to show the way, and to provide access to the training and materials that are required to make things better. I don't want to spend too much time here today, other than to encourage you all to reach out to friends and contacts and colleagues and encourage them to bring their professional expertise to the OSHA network so that we can spread the influence that we have as a group on the safety and development of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sir David, for your remarks. Now I would like to welcome Sir Richmond Jonas, OSHAssociation Ghana, for his remarks. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, and welcome each and everyone on board today's workshop. It's been, a very tiresome week trying to mobilize things together to make this day a success. But thank God, here we are. Thank all the delegates and all the dignitaries on board today. OSHAssociation, seriously speaking, within the shortest time is growing in all the industries, especially in Nigeria and also in Ghana, as I know, and with the help of our able team secretariat, we are pushing very hard to get to the grassroots of every individual to come on board the association. As the team says, risk assessment. Nowadays, things are changing rapidly, that people are doing things in a rush because of time, and they are not taking their time to assess the job that they are doing, because management is pushing them to be on time. So this very workshop we are doing today is very, very on point, and I hope everybody is going to benefit and will learn the attitude of doing it right instead of rushing to mess up with things. So this is my short presentation. I will end here for my other colleagues also to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
and
much.
And greetings from Ghana to you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Sir Richmond, for your excellent remarks. Now I would like to request Sir Leon Lee, OSHAssociation Benin Republic, for his remarks. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Swahib. À nouveau, bonjour. Permettez-moi d'aller en français parce que je vois les locuteurs français. Grande est notre joie de vous souhaiter la bienvenue une fois de plus à ce webinaire international ayant pour thème l'évaluation des risques dans le milieu industriel. Nous vous joignons à vous pour vous souhaiter la bienvenue en vous disant que vous allez apprendre beaucoup de choses, beaucoup de techniques en ce qui concerne comment faire bon usage de votre expertise dans le milieu industriel. Imaginez un temps soit peu, nous vivons dans un monde où l'évolution technologique est d'une façon très alarmante. Les machines font place aux humains et les humains aussi sont sous la pression. Toutefois, que retenez-vous de votre vie après avoir passé votre journée dans l'industrie, dans les factories, à travailler et à la fin du journée, vous vous sentez lésé? Vous vous sentez lésé dans la mesure où, en étant sous pression, vous êtes obligé de commettre des erreurs qui vous seront fatales à longueur du journée. Pour éviter cela, le groupe OSHA, à savoir une plateforme internationale ayant pour objectif de faire la promotion des bonnes pratiques en ce qui concerne l'élimination des dangers et risques. Vous êtes ici la bienvenue pour apprendre et aussi pour apporter votre plus-value. Imaginez ce que nous avons accompli au niveau de l'Afrique de l'Ouest et plus particulièrement au Bénin. Lors de son introduction, de sa brève introduction, il a montré les actions que nous avons entreprises depuis 2017. À savoir, nous avons pu engranger dans notre giron plus de 267 entreprises industrielles. Nous les avons formées conformément aux bonnes pratiques de fabrication et de production pour que le résultat final soit minimiser l'impact de risque. À travers nos formations de part et d'autre, nous avons acquis d'autres expertises. Nous avons mis en notre sein des jeunes expertises qui font la promotion des bonnes pratiques dans le milieu industriel. Nous nous conformons aux normes internationales pour faire un travail de qualité. Ce qui veut dire que vous êtes aussi la bienvenue et apportez votre contribution. Nous avons organisé des séries de masterclass à travers lesquelles l'instruction de qualité est dispensée pour que les gens puissent changer les méthodes. Comme l'a dit l'un des participants, et je fais mien ses propos, nous venons dans un monde post-Covid et les changements ont été bouleversés. Nous avons vu que beaucoup de vies ont péri. Et toutefois, nous connaissons la valeur pratique des bonnes méthodes que nous devons adopter. Et OSHAssociation UK est championne en ça. Partout où nous passons, nous portons fièrement ce logo parce que nous sommes des industriels. Nous sommes des gens qualifiés et apporter la plus-value à vous. Pour cette raison, vous allez beaucoup apprendre lors de ce webinaire international. Nous avons d'éminents experts qui ont parcouru de long à large les bonnes techniques que nous allons adopter. Sur ce, je vous souhaite la bienvenue. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. And we're going to see very soon from the technical presentation. All of us going to benefit from the best practices we have been promoted on the OSHAssociation UK. Therefore, you also have a role to play. You have a part to play. From his brief introduction, he showed you what we have accomplished in Africa, in Europe, in Asia. You too have a part to play. Once you become our member, you automatically have the slogan, the motto, promoting safety by saving life. This is our core mandate and we want to live up to it. On this note, I welcome you all. Thank you very much. Back to you, my friend Suwahai.
Really, thank you, Sir Leon, for your excellent remarks. Now I would like to request Dr. Olisangan, OSHAssociation Nigeria, for your remarks. Yes, Doctor.
Hello?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, I'm Dr. Moelle Pierre. I don't know if you are I'm really the one that you call. Dr. Moelle Pierre from Cameroon, the regional administrator of OSHAssociation. Thank you for organizing this international webinar to really inform people about what is OSHAssociation and also to invite those people to join us in all what we are doing. So as Mr. Leon said, we have already organized many master classes with high quality of trainings, and many people who follow the trainings were really satisfied. So we still continue like that. I would like also to greet all those who are connected across the world to be informed about OSHAssociation and also exactly what should be done in companies to avoid accidents and also occupational diseases. J'aimerais féliciter OSHAssociation, qui est une organisation internationale, et surtout encourager ce qui est fait. J'aimerais souligner que je suis le représentant régional au Cameroun. Nous avons également une section étudiante avec Augustin Ito, qui est le coordonnateur. Nous vous invitons donc à vous joindre à nous. Tous ceux qui sont connectés et qui sont au Cameroun, je vais mettre les contacts dans la discussion, tel que vous puissiez vous en servir. Rejoindre ce grand mouvement international. Vous avez vu certainement de grands événements qui sont organisés ça et là dans le monde à propos de la santé et sécurité au travail. Cela vous sera donc possible. Il vous sera possible de nous joindre, de vous joindre à nous, afin que nous puissions constituer une équipe assez forte au Cameroun. Et c'est une équipe qui a la possibilité de mouvoir des lignes et surtout de faire intégrer même des membres du gouvernement afin d'être en mesure de les accompagner comme il se doit en ce qui concerne la santé, sécurité au travail, la sécurité routière, la sécurité incendie. Nous savons très bien comment il y a des cas d'incendie et bien d'autres. Donc, je vais m'arrêter là. I would like to stop here. Just by inviting all those who are in Cameroon, who are based in Cameroon, or who are connected now, to receive at in the discourse. I'll send something there, or maybe my contacts. As it will be possible for you to join us to go together as we go forward concerning OSHAssociation in Cameroon. Thank you to you all for the organization. I will give the floor back to you. Thank you once more.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your excellent remarks. Is Dr. Olusegun present in this webinar? I think so, no. Okay, let's proceed further. Now I would like to request Sir John, the advisory board member of OSHAssociation UK, to present his presentation titled as Risk Assessment, Correction and Corrective Action, the Death of Preventive Action.
Okay,
Yes, sir,
thank
John.
you very much. Appreciate that. I'll just share my screen if I may. Give me one moment, please, and I shall. Okay, well, always have trouble getting this to move forward and back. Let me see if I can just go back. Anyway, why did I pick that title? What risk assessment, corrective and preventative action? Well, I say that the three most important things in health and safety are very simple. Risk assessment, and risk assessment. It cannot be overemphasized. If you have a system that has got its risk assessment correct, and everything else is maybe a little bit shaky, it will actually be much safer than a system which has everything else correct, but has got its risk assessment very wrong. Because without the risk assessment, everything else will not function correctly. So it's very, very important. So I always like to pick something like risk assessment to try and make an impact on it. Now, of course, I've seen risk assessment in many different forms, in many different industries, across many different standards, because since having a career change in the year 2000, I've trained and audited in over 26 different countries across the world, across 5 different continents. There's just an example on the screen of some of them. And of course, Nigeria. I'm an Irishman. The country I love most in the world is Ireland, but my second home is Nigeria. I keep an apartment in Lagos, and of course, my wife is Nigerian. So I have deep, deep roots in that country and love it very, very dearly. Now, you can see also some other standards mentioned there. We've got our environment, our business continuity, we've got information security, and of course health and safety, and indeed also quality. And we're going to direct our remarks mostly to kind of quality and health and safety. And the interesting thing is that everything I'm going to say applies across all those standards that I've mentioned. because we're trying to converge our standards. We're trying to make them similar to each other to make it easier when you come to audit, so you don't look at the same thing 2 or 3 times over and over and over. You can do an integrated audit. So the remarks I'm going to make can apply to any one of them. Now, I do need to see if I can actually move forward. Ah, yes. So we said as a subtitle, the death of preventative action. And people wonder a little bit about that. Why has preventative action gone? It's not mentioned in the earlier standards. If you look at the, in the current standards, if you look at preventative action in the previous versions of the standards, it was there in some shape or form in them all. And that I found caused problems, great problems. People got confused between 3 things: correction, corrective action, and preventative action. And it really struck me when I was doing some audits actually in Nigeria in a particular sector, and I started to look at non-conformance reports. And there was the non-conformance report, which of course would describe the problem. It would describe the section of the standard that it violated, and then it would go into what was the corrective action and what was the preventative action. And I'm sitting thinking, wait a minute, you can't have preventative action on something that's already happened because it's already failed. You didn't prevent it. If you'd have prevented it, we wouldn't be actually having this discussion now. So that's a nonsense. To have corrective action and preventative action on the same form showed you just didn't understand what you were talking about. It was a logical contradiction. So let's try and look at those 3 terms and find out what they are. So what is corrective action? Corrective action was not eliminating the non-conformity. Corrective action was eliminating the cause of the non-conformity or the incident. And the idea was to prevent reoccurrence. You couldn't prevent it happening the first time. That was in the past. Can't change the past. You could prevent it in the future, looking forward. So that was the definition of corrective action. Preventative action was intended to prevent potential non-conformities. Potential. Once they became real, well, wasn't relevant anymore. You hadn't done it. Your preventative action had failed. And what was this other one? Correction. Well, correction. Let's imagine something goes on fire. So here's a little fire here. The first thing you need to do is forget about your correction and preventative, or your corrective action and preventative action. The first thing you do is put out the fire. You deal with the issue. You deal with the problem. It could be a health and safety issue, a fire, an acid spill, something like that. Some equipment which has suddenly gone live. You have to take immediate action. Put the fire out. Seal off the acid spill. Cut the power, something like that. That is not corrective action. That is correction. You're dealing with the actual problem as it was there. Then afterwards, now the fire's out, now we do corrective action. What actually caused that fire? What caused that acid spill? What caused this particular issue? And you have to ask what caused it first before you can actually find out what it was and take some action against it. Preventative action was to stop the fire from happening in the first place. It had already failed to stop that acid spill. It had already failed. It didn't do that. It's much too late to talk about preventative action after the event has happened. What you talk about is correction to fix the issue immediately and corrective action to stop it happening again. Now, of course, you can't do corrective action without some form of root cause analysis. So one of the ways to distinguish between correction and corrective action is to look, what's the passage of time? Correction needs to be done immediately. If there's a fire, you worry about what started it afterwards. The acid spill, stop it spreading, stop the danger, keep people away from it, stop any injuries from happening. Then worry about why did it happen and how can we stop it happening again. So we need to do root cause analysis. Now, of course, we could write a book on all the different forms of root cause analysis. I'm sure you're all familiar with some of them, and each one of you will have your own personal preferences. Do you like to do this one? Do you like to do? A lot of people swear by FEMA, failure mode effect analysis. I always preach a philosophy called KISS. Keep it short and simple. The shorter and the simpler it is, the easier it is for everybody. We should all be able to understand it rather than starting to use terms which might mean different things to different people in some of the other methodologies. So I like to keep things very short and very simple. And I like what has been called the 5 W's, the 5 W, again, sometimes, I mean, it might not be 5, it might be 3, it might be 7, it might be 8 or 9, I don't know. But this is the idea. Let's go for our 5 W's. Why? So let's imagine a car going along the road, and once that tire reaches 20,000 miles, bang, it blows out. Okay, well, the first thing we're going to do is correction. You know, you're going to get the car safely off the road. You're going to change the wheel. You're going to do everything like that. We now have to think about, hold on, these tires are defective in some way. So again, part of our correction will be to stop the factory selling those tires, putting them on the market, putting dangerous tires, maybe even doing a recall. None of this stops it happening again. Well, maybe the recall might stop a little bit of it happening again, but if you keep selling the faulty ones, it's not going to do that. So why are tires blowing out at 20,000 miles? Could be because the sidewalls are too thin. So let's say we decide that is the problem. We look at all these tires. Where did they blow? Well, the blowout started on the sidewall. Look at that sidewall. Let's examine it. No, there's a weakness there. It's just too thin. Well, the next thing is, why is it too thin? Did we design it that way? Did we make it that way? Is there some problem in the manufacturing process? And why, when we test the tire at the end of it before releasing it, why is that getting through? Oh, it's getting through because we haven't calibrated our calipers properly. Some of our calipers that are testing the thickness of the sidewall are not properly calibrated. They're out of tolerance. Okay, why are the calipers out of tolerance? Is there some fault with the calipers themselves? Is it perhaps that the people who are using them aren't properly trained and don't know how to use them? Or is it just that the people who are responsible for actually calibrating them are not doing their job correctly? Perhaps they're only calibrating them every 2 years. And in between, those calipers are thrown around and knocked about and thrown in the back of a toolbox and all kinds of things like that. And of course, they're going to go out of calibration very quickly indeed if that happens. So you keep asking why until you get to what you feel is the root cause of the problem. And now we do corrective action. So we've taken correction, we've taken our corrective action. We haven't done anything about preventative action because we know that that's failed. Everything we decided to do to prevent it happening hasn't worked because it has happened. So now let's see what did happen to preventative action. Preventative action, in other words, risk assessment at first before the problem has happened, is in section 6 of the standards, planning. It's really where it always was, except that we didn't call it preventative action there. I think it was called preventative action up around section 8 or something like that. But it's actually now in section 6 where it always was under actions to address risks and opportunities. And actions to address risks and opportunities, it's another way of saying kind of risk assessment, because risk assessment is an important part of this. We have to, before we make changes, before we do anything, we should do a risk assessment on it. Even before we introduce a new control, you're doing kind of a risk assessment. Let's get an idea. Okay, I'm falling from a height, and I'm falling from a height and damaging myself, even though I'm wearing a safety harness. And somebody says, I'll tell you what, let's introduce another control. Let's wear 2 safety harnesses. And somebody might think, well, wait a minute. Is that a good idea? Could you get tangled up? Could you actually be creating another problem? Or we want to get rid of manual handling. Let's reduce our manual handling risks. We're going to bring in forklift trucks. So we've got rid of one set of, no, I'm not going to be carrying anything. I'm going to be driving it around in a forklift truck. So I'm not going to hurt my back that way. We have removed that risk. Great. I'm a lot safer. We've got rid of that risk, but we've introduced the risk of a forklift truck and everything that goes along with that. So all we've done is replace one set of risks with another. So anything, any change, any opportunity to improve always needs to be risk assessed. Any process we're going to do, let's introduce a wonderful new process to produce a new product, to speed up production of a current product. All of that needs to be risk assessed. And if you do it correctly, it addresses the issue before it happens. When you address something before it has actually happened,
sir, please, you have 4 minutes more.
True preventative action.
Sir John, you have 4 minutes more to, for your presentation.
4 minutes left. Kosi Wahala, no problem. Okay, so risk assessment. I'm sure anybody doing any of our master classes and most of our experts here will all know about risk assessment. So I'm going to say you start with a hazard, you identify that hazard, you then look at the severity and the likelihood, and you come up with a risk. And once you've done that, if that somebody has to have a level and decide above that is too risky, we need to do something. Below that is quite acceptable, and we can proceed as things stand. We feel we have got that risk under control. But this is also what we call an iterative process. It may be that you do that whole assessment and you find out, do you know what? We've done our risk assessment. We've looked at the current controls. This is still too high. I'm sorry, it's beyond our tolerable risk. We can beyond our acceptable risk. I don't care which terms you use. Some people use tolerable, some people use acceptable. It's too high. We don't want that. So let's actually introduce more controls. So you keep introducing controls and doing your risk assessment until it's over. And you've decided, yes, this is all down, it's acceptable, we don't need to go any further. And then it stays that way until a change happens or until something happens to force you to go back and revisit the issue. For example, an accident happens. If an accident has happened, what's one of the first things you do? You investigate the accident, and you investigate the accident with what happened in one hand and the risk assessment in the other. Hang on. What did the risk assessment say? What happened? Why did we not foresee that? Or why did it not get prevented? And when we introduce those controls, we have a hierarchy. We can eliminate the risk, substitute it, introduce engineering controls, administrative controls, or we can introduce PPE, which doesn't do anything to reduce a risk. It reduces severity. It's a mitigating factor, but PPE really only comes into its own when it's already happened. The accident has already happened. So one of the things always to be wary about when you're looking at people's risk assessment and you look at the controls, if PPE is the first thing that they list, it's a very good indication they don't know what they're doing, or they're being a little bit lazy and rushing in their risk assessments. So PPE should always be the last thing in the list. Look at the actual real controls first. Okay, let's look at our corrective action cycle, just so we understand. So let's say you're an auditor, you're going in, you're doing a health and safety audit somewhere, and you identify a non-conformity. Here's a problem. So you write that up, and then you classify it somehow. It's a minor, it's a major, it's against this or that clause of the standard, and you issue a corrective action request. Now, you can do this as a third-party auditor, coming in from British Standards, Lloyd's, DAS, OSHA, and any one of hundreds and hundreds of certification bodies. Or you can do it as a second-party auditor. I work for your company, or I'm subcontracted to your company. You're sending me to audit a supplier or a partner. Or you can do it as a first party auditor. Yes, my boss, my AGA, has told me to do a health and safety audit on this or that department within my own company. However, you classify and issue the corrective action request. Management, first of all, eliminates the detected non-conformity. So they go in and they do correction. They then investigate the root cause and they find out what caused this issue that I identified. Whatever it is, they then have to do corrective action. So they decide on the corrective action, and after deciding on the corrective action, they then implement it. Sometimes they ask the auditor, do you think this is good? Will this help matters? And the auditor might say, yeah. If it's a third-party auditor, they can't make a suggestion, but they can sort of let you know how they feel about it and make useful comments. So even though third-party auditors have to maintain their independence, it is worth chatting to them a little bit to see if they have useful input. The auditor has to come back after a while because your corrective action, which should have been risk assessed before it was implemented, has to verify, has this been affected? You used to have quite a lot of slips, trips and falls every quarter, and now not quite so many. So it seems whatever you've done has reduced the number of slips, trips and falls. So it seems to be effective. On the other hand, yes, you introduced some kind of program, and now we're getting twice as many. Maybe we didn't do the right thing, or maybe something else has happened or something has changed to increase risk. But let's say everything's fine, you have reduced it, we then close out the actual non-conformity. So that's risk assessment in a nutshell. I do apologize for rushing through it because it is a topic you could write a book on. We could actually spend a whole week discussing this, but I tried to cram everything into about 15 minutes or so. But we've got correction, fix the immediate consequences. We have corrective action, fix the cause of the problem after a root cause analysis, and we don't even talk about prevention, about preventative action anymore, because that should have been done way before the issue. That's done in our planning phase. Once you're actually in the implementation and doing the things, I'm afraid it's long past that stage. So that's why, and I've said the death of preventative action, it's still there where it always was in clause 6 in planning. It was there implicitly in the other standards, in the earlier versions of the standards. It's now there explicitly, just to make it clear and tidy up things. So hopefully when you look at your corrective action requests now and your actions to close things out, you're not going to see preventative action, because preventing reoccurrence is corrective action, not preventative. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your attention. I don't know if there's an opportunity to ask questions now. If there isn't, I will be around later, because I think there's an interactive session later on, and I'm happy enough to do that. These slides, I suspect, are there for, they'll either be distributed to everybody or to everybody who requests. At least mine will be anyway. I have no problem with that at all. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Oshe, Dalu, Nagode for all my Nigerian brothers.
Thank you so much, Sir John, for such a wonderful presentation. I again welcome all the delegates from different countries, including Botswana, Envoy, Cameroon, Cyprus, Ghana, India, Indonesia, Kenya, Lesotho, Nigeria, Pakistan, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, Georgia, Belgium, and Egypt. Once again, welcome to all the delegates. Now I would like to share my presentation. This presentation is regarded as a hazard and risk assessment in workplace. These are just a few concepts just to make up your mind that after this seminar, you can just give awareness to other people. So when we talk about risk assessment, there are 6 basic terms which are connected with the risk assessment. The first term is the risk assessment. The second is the hazard. The third one is the hazardous event. The fourth one is the likelihood. Fifth one is the consequence. And the sixth one is risk. So what is risk assessment? It is a process of identification of hazards, estimating the associated risks, and evaluating the risk to determine the significance of risk. We have three steps for this. The first step is the risk identification. The second is the risk assessment. And the third is the risk control. The second is the hazard. What is hazard? It is a source with the potential to cause injury and ill health. If we take an example, a piece of complicated machinery and hot water, if it could be harmful in any way, then it's a hazard. As you can see in the picture, hazard can be in any form: safety hazard, biological hazard, physical hazard, chemical hazard, etc. What are the sources of hazards? There are two main basic factors for the sources of hazards. The first one is the unsafe acts and the second one is the unsafe conditions. So what are the unsafe acts? Not following the defined rule. Unsafe acts are the actions of the person which possibly leads to accidents or increase the risk of accidents. For example, failure to wear personal protective equipment and unsafe driving. You know the defined rules, but you are not following them. So it comes in the unsafe acts. What is unsafe conditions? Organization does not follow. When an organization is not following the rules, it comes in the unsafe conditions. Any condition or situation which increase the risk and dangers of accident can be called as unsafe condition. For example, damaged electric wires, slippery and unsteady surfaces. These are the examples. Hazardous event. A hazardous event takes place when someone or something interacts with the hazard and harm results. For example, there is a hole in the ground and the hole by itself isn't causing any harm, but if someone tripped over it, then it would become harmful. Likelihood. What is likelihood? Likelihood is the measure of the chance that hazardous event will occur. How many times? If the hole is in the busy area such that in the shop entrance, it's more likely someone will trip over it. However, if it's in an area that does not get a lot of traffic, such as backyard, when tripping over it, it will be less likely. There will be less chances. Consequence. Consequence is basically the outcome of the hazardous event, the result. If you tripped over a hole, then there could be several possible outcomes. You might land on your feet with no damage at all. That will be the first outcome. The second can be you might drop whatever you were carrying. And the third can be perhaps you could end up with a fracture. So what is a risk? Risk is a combination of likelihood of a hazardous event occurring and the consequence of the event. Okay, coming to the types of the hazards, there are basically 6 types of hazards which we usually use in our daily life, the terms, but I have categorized into 10 types. The first type is the mechanical hazard. The second one is the physical hazard. The third one is the chemical hazard. The fourth one is the biological hazard. The fifth one is the environmental hazard. The sixth one is the organizational hazard. The seventh one is the man-made hazard, like you can say terrorism, etc. Eighth one is the natural hazard. Ninth is the psychological hazard. And the 10th one is ergonomic hazard. Workplace hazard identification and risk assessment. The process of identifying and listing hazards in an area or the workplace, estimating the probability and severity of risk associated with each hazard, and evaluating the risk of significance of risk. There are few steps. The first step is the select area. We have to select the area where we have to conduct the hazard identification and risk assessment. The second step is the identify and list the hazards. What are the types of risk according to the list? So the third step is the categorize the hazard. Which category does it fall? The fourth is the estimate and evaluate the risk. That can be base risk without controls, and estimate and evaluate the residual risk with existing control. As you can see, the risk reduction, we have the hazard control. The first one is the elimination, that how we remove the hazards. The second is the substitution, how we replace the hazards. Engineering, the third is the engineering, how we isolate the hazards. The fourth is the warnings, how we promote awareness, giving trainings. Administrative, manage behaviors. And the last one is the PPE, wear protection, personal protective equipment. These are the same. Thank you. Due to time constraint, I have to run the slides. Really sorry about that. Okay, let's have interactive session for all the participants. Regarding this seminar, the safety seminar.
Yes, Hassan, that's for questions for the two presentations, right?
Yes.
Okay. So.
Yes, please, everybody. Everyone, we will request everyone to have their thoughts. There was a question about the involvement of the management, top level management into implementing a health and safety culture. Of course, this, in today's world, we know everything comes from top to down at the moment. So we know influence comes from the management. It is very simple. It is obvious. It is very natural. That until the commitment from the highest management is not involved, the organization, they can't implement effective health and safety system. Though departments are there, they can try to, put in things like formality, but the sense of safety in each and every task and activity of the organization, that definitely need the involvement of the higher management. And the question should be, of course, we are short of time, but the question that is more critical and is asked about this, and definitely when the people are into this field, the more important question for the people is that how to make the higher management, top level management, how to engage them, how to make them to be more committed with the health and safety. As being a safety professional, being a being there to take care of the health and safety at workplace. This is the main question which we should research. And for that, we need the trainings, we need to make a behavior, and we need to train ourselves so that we can convince the management to show their commitment to the health and safety in their workplace. Yeah, please, everybody, please. I'm sure people have a lot of wisdom. It is just matter to share with us, and that's the reason we are doing these seminars. Otherwise, as we are going through these courses, they need to be a master classes, and they should be a detailed class. But involving these short topics is our purpose is just to hit the tip of the iceberg so that people can start discussing things And actually, this is the way of motivating ourselves and take inspiration. So please participate. We have this 3-4 minutes. So we would like to hear from our participants. Please, anyone?
Yes, I would like to welcome Mr. Harrison for your input. Yes, Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison, are you there? Okay, yes, Isa Nuva. Yes, Mr. Isa Nuva, your input regarding this webinar. Yes, please.
Okay, amazing to be here. 1 minute, please. So my question was on leadership commitment towards health, safety, security, and environment. What have come to notice, I've been a safety professional for like 3 years now and counting. What I've noticed is many organizations, probably in this country, in Nigeria, they just want to have safety officers, probably maybe because they want to get a contract or something, but the commitment is like, it's not there. They are more about reactive than proactive. So all this talk on risk assessment, having a HSSC policy to work with and whatnot, they really do not want to, do not care about it. And they are like, they like consider PPEs, yes, and housekeeping like this is like the main deal. So the whole risk hierarchy of elimination, substitution, engineering control, administrative control, and PPEs, it doesn't like, they don't like follow this hierarchy. And as safety officers, if the leadership are not committed to safety, you find out that many of these safety officers start to compromise safety, which is not supposed to be so. So my question, or what I want to know, how do we like try and change this? How do we like get leadership involved? How do we like make top management commit, you know? And it's be important if every organization has this ISO 45001 certification. And also, how do we like involve the government too? Because I feel if there's a policy in place right from the government, then private organizations would probably like take safety serious and change the culture, because safety is a way of life and it is like super, super important. Thank you.
Mr. Emmanuel, please. I think you should address this question. The way.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, my brother from Nigeria. It's quite unfortunate that in Africa, actually, we are still trying and struggling to get the top management understand the need to appreciate safety and implement safety. Just like what you just said, you know, they are more of reactive than prevention. And the prevention is the key instrument to be able to ensure zero incidents at the end of every operation. So I think what we need to do as a health and safety officer or health and safety manager in your profession is to try as much as possible to draw the difference or the benefit of safety. For example, if you need to conduct risk assessment for working at height, and you have seen the project is going to carry out some employees working at height and things of that nature, you can do your risk assessment since you are the safety officer. After doing that, and maybe there is need for them to bring a standard scaffolding than bringing other inadequate scaffolding. The management may not want to spend much money to put a standard scaffolding subject. So you need to now try to prove a point that they don't have to use this substandard scaffolding, but use a standard scaffolding to ensure stability and adequate balancing for the workers to do their job at height. So if you need to prove more points, you need to bring it into value, because in Africa, they value money. They want to speak in money, you know, in currency. So you have to put it in a way that if somebody should fall in this scaffolding, it's going to cost us 1 million, 2 million. and we are going to handle the burial of the person, which may costing us another 500,000. And at the end of the day, some colleagues of these staff is also going to travel for the burial, which may cause the company shutting down for some time to carry out some. So you need to narrate all these explanation to the top and to see that if there should be any incident that will result to fatality, this is what they are going to. So you are going to show them the future of the consequences, which they are not aware of. They have to see the consequences of the future of their action. That helps them to really have everything.
Thank you, Engineer Emmanuel, for your input.
To you and also Leon. Thank you. Leon.
Thank you, sir, Engineer Emmanuel and Sir Isa Anuba. Thank you for your input. Now I would like to request Mr. Denny, yes, for your input. Yes, Mr. Denny.
Yeah, Leon, go ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, please. Thank you for your input. The question he asked is a very fundamental question. But nevertheless, you don't need government before you show yourself that you are a leader. Leadership starts from you. By the way, never work in a company that does not have policy. I can tell you, do not work in a company that does not have a working policy. Now, where will a company get working policy from? Well, if you pay careful attention to those technical papers, you see that there are international standards that all organizations have to use. Well, do not say international standard. What about the national standard? We have national standard. In Nigeria, you have national standard. We also share common standard, namely regional standard, known as the ECOWAS harmonized standard. It clearly stipulates that in a company, the safety officer must abide to the working policy, among which risk assessment need to be carried out. On that level, we don't need the importance of any government. You work for the safety. Now, to convince your top management that safety living is the best cause, you need to prove it by bringing proposals that are cost effective. That is, you need to be efficient, need to be the efficacy need to be clearly seen, and also it need to be economic. No management would like to bring money out just to provide a solution. Instead, he's looking for money as his own solution. Therefore, you live by example by being a safety-minded worker by yourself. Whatever you want to do, try to follow the policy. Now, if you notice that there is no policy, you propose to them. Around the corner, we have experts, even young experts that are efficient in drafting policy.
Mr. Leon, you are muted, sir.
Mr. Leon, please unmute yourself. Maybe network problem, something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I was saying that you can't work in a company without a policy. You can't work in a company without policy. Now, where do you have the policy from? It's not government that will provide the policy. When you listen to the technical paper presented, you notice clearly that he mentioned standard, international standard, or even national standard. Now, you yourself, leadership starts from you. You won't expect the top management to lead an example of leadership. Why you yourself, you try to be rebellious, as I said earlier. You need to live by a safety practice. You need to live by a safety, within safety procedure. You offer cost-effective proposal. As I was saying, it need to be economical, efficiency, and also it need to be the efficacy need to be seen. No top management would like to bring money out to offer solution. No, money is his own solution. So as a safety officer, you take the lead by conducting risk assessment whenever you want to work. While you start from there, others will be motivated to follow your example. So do not always wait for government. Government has its own problem. Every country in Africa, government have their own problem. But as safety officer, you take the lead within your organization. So no genuine organization should work without working policy. Every organization must have a written policy, and all workers must be aware of the part concerning them. By implementing such policies, you are you are showing a leadership example. Then your top management will be motivated in one way or another to come to your aid. So this problem starts from you, not from the top management first. So this is a little contribution I wanted to offer.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we will further proceed to the third presentation by Els William, Executive Director of OSHAssociation Belgium.
Yes, thank you very much.
On the topic of beyond observation. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. It's Els Willems with an E of excellence and energy and a lot of more good stuff. So I will share my screen. Thank you again for being here. I am disabled to share my screen. But it's not so important. Let me go on because I have mostly text. But later on, please make sure that I can share my screen for the inauguration. So workplace hazard and risk assessment strategies is the theme of today. And who has met me before, I see the world in patterns and I see the world in very different perspectives. So in workplace hazard risk assessment strategies, those are strategies. Everything that is applicable to occupational health and safety is also applicable in other fields like the household, not only the company and the organization, but also the nation, for example, the world, and so on. So risk assessment is, as I said in my welcome, not only a thing of occupational health and safety. We do that constantly, and we even do that without knowing it, because there are some subconscious tools we are using. Actually, we have 7 tools, because what we do with risk assessment is actually problem solving. And as my colleague from UK, Ireland, Mr. Flynn said, you have corrective action, and corrective action is something you do when an accident has happened. But actually, it's also a preventive measure for the future, so it won't repeat itself. So it's kind of also prevention. And therefore, risk assessment those tools are very essential to use and to develop. There are 7 mental facilities actually that that we have, that each person has. I think I can share my screen meanwhile. I will do so. One moment. Yes, so my presentation was called Beyond Observation, because you will see that that is one of those mental facilities we have to develop our risk assessment, because we need to improve that risk assessment constantly. And I appreciate very much the ring of Mobius for continuity that Mr. Flynn used, but actually it should be like a spring of infinity, because it has to improve constantly. And improving something, there is only one person we have under our control, and that is us. So we should work on our 7 gifts, I call them. 7 mental muscles, just like your body. You have to exercise them to have excellence in it, to be better than the average person. And we need to be better than the average person because we have a big why, and that is protecting and saving lives. So let's look at those 7 gifts. And you will see that you cannot use only one. You have to employ all 7 of them to become an excellent risk assessor. So you have observation and perception. So that is something essential. We need to know what is in there. And as most of you know, every company is unique, and it is tailor-made, a tailor-made job to have a policy and risk assessments and so on. And risk assessments are usually done per workstation, but can also be done per employee, if that is a certain category of employees, or a machine or a situation. Maybe something happens within the world, because we don't leave our emotions out of the company. We bring the emotions inside. So if there is some hassle outside, it could be you have to assess the situation of different groups of people on your work floor. So we need to observe what we have, what we are working with, what the facts are, and you need to get from behind your desk and get on the situation, study the situation from closer by, because you can try. I've put an exercise here. Whether you know everything that is in another room that you're not in your own house, and describe it. Whether you catch every detail correct. Maybe the color of something is different than you described it, because you are not there in the room seeing it. So it is important to get from behind your desk and go on site. Then memory, experience, knowledge is very important. We have experiences, we have seen those accidents happen, and incidents happen, incidents, near misses, and accidents. So we have a memory, we have experiences of several kinds that can help us assess a situation, even if it isn't a situation that applies immediately to the situation we're assessing. So it will help you, this mental muscle will help you, and it is an advice that is needed in everything. If you want to be an expert in something or better in something, you need to acquire knowledge, and you have to learn daily. You have to study daily. You have to be active in that field daily. And it may be that the average working week in your country is 40 hours or 48 hours. If you only work 40 or 48 hours, you will be an average person. So you need to put more time in things that help you forward. So the third one is intuition. And this is something we all experience at some moment in life, at several moments in life, and still a lot of us were raised with the belief that this sixth sense, it doesn't exist, and it's mumbo jumbo. But everybody had this feeling, and everybody was right in saying there is something wrong or there is something missing. So we need to listen to our gut, because this is scientifically research. There are more neurons in your gut, in your bowels, than in your brain. So a lot of people call that the second brain, and you need to have your gut work together with I'm sorry, I thought reason was following, but reason is one of the gifts as well. Connect, well, come harmonize with your mind, with your logic, with your reason. So so you can ignore or you can explore that feeling, that gut feeling, and that is decided, because that is a choice about that you make with your will. And this is also a gift we have received as a human being. And the bigger your why is, the bigger, well, the the more your choice will be, I'm going to explore it. If you are afraid to be rejected, and I say afraid, but I don't like the word fear. I don't think I have fears. I have challenges and things that are more difficult for me, but I don't call them fears. So for who feels the same way like me, just assume that this is just an obstacle. The obstacle will be less big when your why is important, and your why here in occupational health and safety is a very big asset because it concerns protecting people's lives. They could die if you don't do the right thing and push through. Of course, it depends in the way you handle the people and so on, whether you are going to get what, well, to protect the people or to make the management say, no, this is, you're trying to be against us and so on. So you also need your reason, your logic, because you need to think about things. Are things really true? And yeah, in my language, we call this healthy farmer's brain. You know, you think with your healthy farmer's brain when you get rid of all the things that are of influence that actually aren't true, all these details that are not belonging to the matter and are just noise to make you doubt and have nothing to do with the matter. So you think in a sober and simplified way, so you can make a clearer decision. So that is reason or logic. Not everybody is focused on the same thing. So reason, logic, truth, things like that are different for everybody. We are unique persons. But as an occupational health and safety professional, we need to make sure we think as sober, as simplified as possible, but in a correct and complete way. So then we have imagination. And imagination is a gift, a very, very well-applied gift in our lives, because what we do in our daily life is when we are in front of a challenge or we have some problem like a financial problem or something, we always think of we are very good in thinking of the worst case scenario, and we don't apply it in our daily life. We should think also about the best case scenario, because in a way, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You set yourself subconsciously to encounter the worst case scenario, and when it happens, we're surprised and disappointed. So it can be a very good, well, it is very useful if you can go about it without being too emotional, and you know you have to make a buffer, for example, because buffering is a strategy for risk management, especially also in financial world, for example. So, but when we have thought of all things that can go wrong, because we need to think about the things that can go wrong with that person, with that machine, with that in that situation at that time of the day, we need to take all the information we get from that and also from all the rest of our gifts to find solution, because this is actually what we do with risk assessment, finding a solution for something that has not happened yet, prevention. So we need our creativity. We need to know what are the facts, what are the possibilities, what are our resources, our materials that we can work with. And we have to know that there is more than one solution to a problem. So if one solution doesn't fit in your company, probably there is another one and another one and another one. And if none of those solutions work, maybe solution 2 and 7 combined will work. So never give up, always keep growing. And yeah, it sounds like a big thing to master problem solving, because this is what I'm aiming at. This is kind of problem solving before the problem happens. And even when the problem has happened, you are still looking for a solution to prevent it. But this training of your brain can be done in a very fun way too. So you can solve puzzle games or go to escape rooms, or maybe you have children, or maybe your sister has children, or you have a little brother or sister. You can play. You can go on an imaginary adventure, slaying dragons and saving Princess Mama or something. You can watch Netflix and YouTube. I don't know whoever said that social media and Netflix and so on is not good. You can get experiences and so on from other people, get knowledge from other people by watching movies and documentaries and so on. Skill yourself in finding solutions by going on survival camp, and it doesn't need to be an organized one. Just go out in nature and see if you can survive, if you can find solutions for problems you encounter when you don't have the luxury that you have in your own house. And of course, don't forget the 30 minutes of physical activity, medium intensive exercise that will support your brain and keep it healthy, give it the necessary oxygen to think clearly. So stay safe, stay healthy, and stay extraordinary, and train those brain muscles. So that was it for me. Thank you for listening. I hope it was useful for you, and I'll pass it again to Mr. Hassan.
Thank you so much, Miss Els William, for your presentation. Yes, anyone would like to say something about the presentation or your input?
Yes, I can see a question that imagination and intuition seem to be quite close. It's something really different. Your imagination, your intuition is just a feeling inside that something is wrong. So your subconscious brain already is solving the solution and is seeing this is not going to work. If there is something missing or something is going to go wrong, using your imagination subconsciously. It's not a conscious process, but we cannot deny it because your body is talking to you. Your brain has already figured some things out and we need to listen. And imagination is when you deliberately go after a situation. If this person is working on that machine, this and this can happen because that person has these and these characteristics. But if another person is working at that machine, this and this can happen. So you need to have the collection, and that is where you use your imagination deliberately. So I hope that answers your thoughts. I don't know if there are any other questions about it.
Yes, exactly, Mr. Actually, this Mr. Fondezem, he was confusing imagination and intuition. Yeah, intuition, they are very close to each other. But for a layman, the difference in plain words is imagination actually is both are actually sort of sensing or getting knowledge. But difference between imagination and intuition is
Hello. Thank you.
the imagination actually in this situation we can use any concept formation, anything to get the knowledge about anything, but intuition is sometimes partly about some events, some situation on hand. So this is actually basic I think difference between imagination and intuition, but as the purpose of the both is to acquire the knowledge. So in that meanings, you can say they are they are quite close, but just the difference is both are medium of acquiring the knowledge. But difference is that in imagination, you can use any concept, any imagery, any senses to make a concept, to get information. But in intuition, basically we rely on a situation specifically in most cases. So this is the difference for me in plain words. Means both are same, but this is little bit difference. Maybe I am true, but I guess from their literal dictionary meaning, this can be the difference between them. But they are both for the sake of acquiring the knowledge.
Yes, certainly. Is certainly present here?
Please, yes, please.
Yes, sir. Kindly translate in French for the French delegates.
Une fois de plus, nous vous remercions pour l'intérêt particulier que vous avez accordé à ce webinaire international ayant pour thème central les stratégies d'évaluation de risque. Notre objectif commun est que partout où nous serons, que ce soit sur le lieu de travail ou bien dans nos domaines respectifs, pour que le risque, il est vrai, on dit souvent que le risque zéro est impossible, quand bien même on peut éliminer le risque zéro. Et je m'en tiens à faire un bref résumé de présentation, notamment de S, qui a abordé l'aspect psychologique. Pour mieux appréhender, please can you kindly unmute yourself? Can you kindly mute yourself? Pour mieux appréhender les facteurs socio-culturels, il y a l'importance de travailler sur soi ou bien l'importance d'affiner tes facultés mentales dont elle a fait montrer dans sa présentation. Elle a mis l'accent sur le fait que nous pouvons utiliser notre imagination du côté positif. À quoi cela est dû? Si, comme on le dit par exemple, si vous n'êtes pas, votre bien-être même n'est pas assuré, il vous sera difficile même de faire, de parcourir les simples méthodes de bonheur. Ce qui veut dire que vous-même, vous devez travailler sur vous-même. Vous devez voir au-delà de ce qui est réel, au-delà de ce qui est observable. Ça veut dire quoi? Vous devez tenir compte des facteurs socio-culturels, de tout ce qui vous entoure. Parce que le travail est fait de procédures et de rythmes qui sont parfois mécaniques. Mais au-delà du mécanisme, si vous-même, votre bien-être n'est pas inculqué, vous allez faire un travail, comme on dit, travail de surface. Et c'est le travail de surface qui donne les comptes performances. Et c'est pour éviter ces comptes performances, nous devons mettre en pratique les principes fondamentaux que les normes recommandent, à savoir les bonnes pratiques de production, les bonnes pratiques de fabrication et les bonnes méthodes, peut-être les 5M dont je pense qu'elle a parlé des 5M. Oui. Tout cela concourt au bonheur de nous tous. Et pour renchérir, je me permets de dire, si vous me le permettez, nous, notre objectif à OSHA, c'est d'avoir un monde épanoui, un monde très bien épanoui, parce que, comme j'ai eu à le dire, la nouvelle technologie a pris place et les sentiments ne sont plus. Nous travaillons à longueur de journée de façon perpétuelle, sans même retirer le bonheur qu'il nous faut. Pour éviter tout cela, nous devons travailler sur nous-mêmes, développer notre faculté mentale pour que nous puissions observer au-delà du réel ce qui tient en compte notre maturité. Au fur et à mesure que nous évoluons, notre capacité de maturité sera bien affermie. Et en cela, nous pouvons être de bons conseillers, de bons experts dans tout ce que nous faisons. Merci beaucoup. Et je profite pour vous dire que soyez connectés, soyez scotchés à notre racine commune, c'est OSHAssociation. Partout où vous serez, que ce soit au Bénin, en Côte d'Ivoire, au Cameroun, au Congo, partout, soyez toujours attachés à la racine. Notre plateforme consiste en des milliers de documents de partage technique que nous partageons gratuitement. Actuellement, où nous parlons, si vous permettez, nous sommes en pleine session de cours en ligne. Aujourd'hui, nous avons ce qu'on nous appelons la classe numéro 4, qui nous fera l'historique des principes généraux en ce qui concerne la culture même du travail en sécurité. Vous êtes partout invités. Chaque fois que vous êtes connecté à nous, vous serez au courant de toutes les technologies que nous déployons. Et ensemble, nous pouvons impacter nos communautés respectives. Merci à vous d'être restés jusqu'à l'heure habituelle, quand bien même nous tendons vers la fin. Merci beaucoup. Back to you, Sohaib.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Lee, for translation. Now, I would like to again welcome Miss Els William, the Executive Director of OSHAssociation Belgium, for the induction of new members and membership oath.
Yes, hello again. Yes, I don't know if somebody has is introducing the members that are going to be inaugurated today.
Yes, I think if I'm to contribute at our advice, by the time you start all participating participants, you should be ready to follow your suit as you guide them accordingly. I think we have membership that is both from Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, things like others. So if you proceed, they can follow you.
Yes, so I gathered. I'm sorry. Your sound was falling. I gathered that the members are here. Well, future family members, because this is family to us. You know, we have this mission, and we are always so happy that our family is extended by these wonderful people that bring extra value to our organization, and that we are allowed to bring extra value to them. Now, we thought it was very necessary to install an oath for our members, because we are doing this with a really high.
Sorry. I would like to also inform as the facilitator have posted the link for participation, because some of my people also asked in certificates. So let them kindly view the attendance of this workshop via the link on the chat box and fill it accordingly. Then they will be able to receive both the certificates and also the presentation slides to that channel. Please let them all fill. And all countries participating for the suit. Thank you. Continue, please. Yes, thank you.
So I hope everybody understood that the link for the certificate and also the slides is in the chat, that you need to fill this in. I hope this is shared also to the people that are following us on YouTube live. This is so exciting. We can reach so many people. Let's get this vibe continued. And as I was saying, we all thought that it was very important that we committed to an oath, just like doctors and so on. You know, we're all superheroes in this profession. Doctors take care of the people of the accidents that cannot be prevented, and we are the superheroes preventing accidents from happening. I will share the oath on my screen, and then you can follow. You don't have to unmute yourself, because we tried that once. It was quite some sound. It's like on the market pen, so, especially with the networks lagging on different times and so on. Now,
let's hope they can unmute their videos.
Yes, of course. We want to see who our new family is. Absolutely. I'm looking for my oath. Where is it now? I'm coming, as they say in Nigeria. Okay, it's not colored in the preview. No, that's not it. I'm sorry. I'm going to close some things because otherwise I will not be able to find it. My apologies for this. Now I have it. There you go. Our membership ode. So please show yourself on video. We are going to read this ode together, and very, very aware and conscious read this ode so we know what we are committing to as members of OSHAssociation. So you will have to say this your name to make this real, and please say it out loud so you hear.
They have to raise their hands as we do in Nigeria.
With one hand on the heart and the other hand, I swear. So else Willems, I hope you're all ready. Maybe I should wait. I'm completely lost now. Oh, this is going wrong, eh?
I'm not sure why.
I'm going to do it again. Okay. So
I, Concept Michael hereby swear to abide by the following rules. I commit to ensure effective health and safety supervision to the best abilities for service to humankind and society.
Service to humankind and society.
Above everything else,
Everything else,
And
at all
behave
times,
as a
I
leader.
will
the leader
Will care for
health and safety. I will risk prevent danger.
prevent danger.
I will still limit risk.
I will inform correctly stupidity, any other than
searching new and better solutions contributing to the knowledge and science of securing safety environment.
The best thing for any journalist, for any media organization,
I will use the means I will behave good human and treat human
Respectfully.
Available by type.
I will make sure
my
attitude towards others
will not be influenced
by philosophy,
political
political
opinion, social
status,
race,
ethnicity, nationality, language, gender,
sexual
sexual
preference,
illness or disability.
Illness or disability.
I will respect
and protect life. I declare solemnly on my word of Association UK.
The member of OSHAssociation UK.
You will find this quote also on our website, and please read it again and again and over until you understand it completely. And see that we all are equal, and we all sometimes need help. And I welcome you into our family. I am so happy. I am so happy. I am really happy. Let's continue to make a better place for you and me, as the song goes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gates and Miss Els William, for this oath ceremony. Now I would like to, sorry, now I would like to welcome Mr. Engineer Hafizur Rahman for the closing remarks. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Hafiz.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zohaib, and welcome everybody on board. And I congratulate the new members, and thank you very much for being on board and for broader and to be with us through concept of safety. And as we all know, basically safety was started. The safety, if we go to the history of safety, it was started for technology, and then the human factor came into that, and then it became the organizational safety as well involved. And now the era of safety we're going through is a holistic safety concept now, where the complex interaction between the technology, organizations, and the humans. So this is a workplace safety sort of thing. And in a holistic view, along with the safety is actually covering the human issues. So it's also covering the domestic issues. So for this sake of this for the as far as the topic for the today webinar was concerned, it was the most important thing into the safety, because logically and eventually the safety is all about reducing the risk, controlling it, and everything from A to Z we are doing. That is the sole purpose, and the end purpose is that if we can control the risk, because if we can control the risk, we can avoid the loss. That is the only purpose of being safe. And this is all about the workplace safety and even domestic safety. And thing is that why we need to be very much conscious about this thing, because now it is the need. It is the need of the time. The world is going through the hard times. Now the things are very different. And we can see, if we go back, and we can see, even if I will like to give an example for the Africa, within this 1 decade, you can see the safety concept and the safety revolution in Africa is changed a whole lot. Because I will give credit to OSHAssociation UK, because I am sure for Africa, as for my as far as I know, and I do research, OSHAssociation UK is the only body who is not just giving the knowledge, but it is spreading the awareness. It is not just taking the exam, asking you to sit into some exam and get a certificate and go away. But in Africa, on real grounds, into the organization, into the universities, OSHAssociation UK is doing a lot. And OSHAssociation UK is different and unique from each and every organization, safety organization in the world, that focuses on bringing people together, actually creating an inspiration into the individuals. Because as we were discussing the question, and that is the biggest question, how we bring people, the people who are controlling these workplaces, who are owning the organizations, how we can make them to be committed with the safety. So we know, because we cannot do this until we have the right people who have, first of all, inspiration and motivation, who have commitment, who just are not there in the organizations, just to take, sorry, who are just not there to take the jobs, but they are there to change the culture. And if the people, if you are inspired enough, then you will only find a way to inspire others. You will find only way to inspire your management. You will do this hard work. Otherwise, what actually, basically, in very plain words, Mr. Isa, what he was showing concerns, and this concern is everywhere. This is dilemma of corporate world, that if it is if the governments are not going after the organizations, they are never going to spend a penny, mostly, to hire the safety professionals. This is actually a dilemma of the corporate worlds. The corporate people, they will run the NGOs, they will do this and this, all this stuff. But at some point, it is something. It will save them taxation. It will make earn them good repute. Means, being humans, it is in our nature that if we see some benefit into something, then we go for that. Or the second thing is, if we see a punishment behind anything, so we avoid that and we want to comply. So for that reason, but again, these things comes, if we want commitment will come from inner side, because a safety professional, he need to find his ways. So that is only possible when we can we can inspire people who need to inspire others. So I would like to thank you again, and I would like to request you that, of course, we cannot say that with a short presentation, you can take out all the concept of risk assessment at the workplace. Definitely, it is not possible. As Mr. John Flynn said, there can be the books on that topics, because safety is all about identifying risks and removing them. It is the whole safety. For that, you will learn techniques, you will learn about things, but at the end, you need to achieve this target. And how comes we can do that within a short webinar? So for that, definitely, with inspiration, you need the right knowledge. So we have to keep inspiring people. We need to keep people bringing on this platform. And then we have the master classes. You can join us. We keep on doing these trainings. So this is all for inspiration, and hope at least you will get a word from this webinar. You will know that why we need a safer world, and what is the importance of risk assessment, and what are the things you need to learn to make the places safe to work and to live. And there are a lot of things that can be said and that should be said. So, but what we will do, we cannot do this into presentation and webinars. This can be done only through continuous attachment, continuous development, training. So we will keep on doing this, but for that, we need you people who are internally motivated and inspired. And definitely we are here with all our heart, with the very, very unique platform of OSHAssociation UK, and our trainers and our all the collaborators around the world. We are all here to welcome you each and every time. And definitely we understand you. We want to give you everything you need to do the good things to humanity, as well as to your family, your job. So we are not only asking you to just, be just to learn safety and this, but what we are doing ultimately with you is we are making you good professionals. We are trying to do that, and you get all the benefits, it is a plus. So we welcome you all, but most important thing, again, this is not the world is, the world has a population that even now it is getting hard to, keep counting. Means daily it is changing. So with this, we people, how we need to spread the word. That is very important, and why that is the reason. The one thing that Mr. David, he started in the UK, now it is into the spread it into the Far East, the countries where there was no concept of safety, like the developing countries and underdeveloped countries. So how it happened? It happened through the continuous improvement, and it is, believe me, it is also a sort of preaching. And I will tell it, it is to bringing people to safety, motivating them is a way to preach to the people to serve the humanity. So I would like to thank you again, and I will request you all to keep connected with us to bring in more people and spread the awareness. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much, sir, for your closing remarks. One important announcement is to be made that all the delegates will receive their certificates from their respective offices. Lastly, I welcome again all the delegates from different countries, including Botswana, Envoy, Cameroon, Cyprus, Ghana, India, Indonesia, Kenya, Lesotho, Nigeria, Pakistan, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, Georgia, Belgium, and Egypt. Lastly, I would request all the participants to open their videos, to open their cameras for chair.
Bye.
Bye.
That's it time for everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Nice to see you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yes, from Nigeria.
So much.
Bye. Bye. Those from India, Pakistan, Belgium, my leaders. Bye.
Don't forget